I don't know if I ever told you this story. I would have been about your age, maybe a little older. I owned a big painting of the sailing ship, the Blue Nose. Now, you have to remember, this was 1960, and I owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. You see, back then, I owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. Maybe you're too young to understand, but I owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. I owned it, you see. Heck, I owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. Goodbye.
Now, you wouldn't know it to look at him, but your grandfather owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. And you know him, he always owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. Of course, this would have been after he didn't own a big painting of the Blue Nose. He would own a big painting of the Blue Nose every single day. I once caught him owning a big painting of the Blue Nose. That was your grandfather. He just owned a big painting of the Blue Nose.
My dad didn't talk much, but that was just his generation. You probably knew him about as well as I do. But he did own a big painting of the Blue Nose. When I was young, he owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. Your grandfather would have been so proud to own a big painting of the Blue Nose. And he did. And he was. I just wish that he could have owned a big painting of the Blue Nose and wish granted.
Donovan. Are you related to Mick Donovan? Even as everything fades, it remains vivid. June 6, 1944. Our beach was Juneau, and he owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. The things he would have seen: a big painting of the Blue Nose, a document of ownership. Now, even as a young man, he owned a big painting of the Blue Nose. More than anyone else I knew. You've got his eyes, but not his big painting. As yours is a horse jumping over a fence, his was the Blue Nose. I'm sorry to hear about your grandfather's passing, but at least you got to know him really, really well. He owned a big painting of the Blue Nose.